Hey there, welcome back. I'm Flat Rate Mechanic, and today we're diving into a pretty frustrating problem. What do you do when your electronic emergency brake just won't release? It can be a real headache, and trust me, I've seen it all in the shop. Imagine this. You're in your car, the brake is stuck, and no matter what you do, it just won't budge. Sounds familiar, right? Well, let me share a story that might just surprise you. So, a guest rolled into the shop with exactly that issue. Their electronic emergency brake was completely locked up. They tried everything from pressing the button over and over, turning the ignition on and off, even disconnecting the battery. But nothing worked. The brake was solidly in place, and the car wasn't going anywhere. Now, electronic parking brakes are pretty advanced. They're not like the old mechanical handbrakes where you could just yank on a cable. No, these systems use electric motors attached to the rear calipers. When you engage the brake, those motors screw the brake pads into the rotor, and when you release it, they back off. So if the system doesn't get the right signal, or if something's gone wrong mechanically, you're stuck. Here's a crucial warning. Don't ever try to force a vehicle with a stuck electronic brake to move by revving the engine or dragging it. You can cause serious damage to the brake components, and trust me, you don't want that. Now, let's break down the common causes of electronic parking brake failures. First up, a weak or dead 12-volt battery. It's super common. These motors need a good amount of juice to operate, and if your battery voltage dips below 11.5 volts, good luck getting that brake to release. You might be able to turn on the dashboard lights, but that won't help with the brake. Another key point is a failed EPB actuator motor. These little guys are mounted right on the rear calipers and can fail from road salt, moisture, and just plain wear and tear. If they fail, you'll often hear a clicking noise, but nothing will move. Next, there could be a seized caliper or parking pawl mechanism. If the motor's working but the brake stays clamped, you'll need to get the wheel off and inspect the caliper directly. And then there's the possibility of a failed EPB control module or wiring issues. If that control module has a fault, you're in trouble. Lastly, don't forget about software interlocks. Some vehicles won't release the EPB unless certain conditions are met, like the ignition being on, the brake pedal pressed, or the transmission in park. If one of those sensors is sending the wrong signal, you're out of luck. Now, let's talk about what we found with this particular vehicle. So we confirmed the brake wouldn't release, and we checked the fuses and battery, 12.6 volts, all good there. I got the car on the lift, pulled the rear wheels, and started looking around the actuator area. And what do? I find an SD card wedged in the EPB mechanism. Can you believe it? That little card was blocking the actuator from releasing. I've seen rocks and plastic stuck in there, but an SD card? That was a first for me. Once we removed it, the system worked like a charm. We cycled the EPB a few times, and it engaged and released smoothly. It just goes to show you that even complex electronic systems can have simple mechanical blockages. So if you ever find yourself in this situation, here's how to safely release a stuck electronic parking brake. First, make sure the vehicle is secure. Use wheel chocks and never rely on just the brake to hold the car. Safety first, right? And definitely don't work under a car held up by a hydraulic jack alone. Put on your safety glasses and gloves. Brake dust isn't something you want on your skin. Start by connecting a good quality scan tool to check for any fault codes. You want something beyond a basic code reader. A tool with bidirectional control will let you command the actuators directly, which is crucial. If you have to remove the wheels, look for anything blocking the actuator mechanism, like debris or corrosion. Often you'll find the caliper slides are rusted or seized from lack of lubrication. And here's a pro tip. Always replace your brake pads and hardware when you're working on the calipers. You've got everything apart, so it's the perfect time to do it. Before we wrap up, let's hit some frequently asked questions. First, what are the common causes for an electronic emergency brake to get stuck? Like I mentioned earlier, it can be a weak battery, a failed actuator, seized components, wiring issues, or even software interlocks. How about safely releasing it? Make sure your vehicle is secure, check the battery, and use a scan tool to command the release. If you're not comfortable doing that, don't hesitate to call a professional. And finally, how do you know if you need a pro? If you've tried everything and the brake still won't release, or if the actuator motors aren't responding, that's when it's time to get help. So what's the takeaway from all of this? Always check your battery first. Do a thorough visual inspection before replacing parts. And if in doubt, don't force it. Call in a pro. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you in the next one.